Swipe down to stop. Double tap the flip camera. Yay! Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you for checking into DPCheckin. Hey, Shay. I saw Desmond on here, too. Hey, Des. That's my brother, y'all. It's not really early in the morning. Hey, girl. It's not really early in the morning, but I had a late night last night, so I wasn't turning up. I just went to a seminar, but I'm hella sleepy. But thank you, boo. Thank you. Happy Founders Day to all my lovely ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Z-Phi. Hey. Thank you, boo. Thank you. I tried to have my blue on. Y'all see? I tried to have my blue on. It's cold, though. It's like really cold outside. This is the only good place for lighting. So I'm not going to keep you guys too long because I know people got MLK celebrations. Thank you for all the hearts. Yes! Thank you. Happy Founders Day. Thank you, Fred. So I won't keep you guys too long, but I do want to do a Periscope today for DP Taught Me. This is called DP Check-ins if you haven't heard. DP Taught Me is a blog that I write, and it talks about Greek life and millennial leaders. So with that being said, Zeta put out Zeta put out an initiative for today called Our Girls, where we're supposed to be posting pictures or videos, yay, yes to my girls, or our girls, that we impart information or advice that we would have given ourselves when we were younger, or advice we can give our younger grad or undergrad women, so neos, younger sorors and stuff, just different advice that we can offer them in order to be a better person, a better Zeta. And so I wanted to share 5 things that Zeta has taught me, that has helped me become a better mentor, that has helped me become a better person, also because January is National Mentor Month, and I'm really, really an adamant advocate for mentorship. So with that being said, let me get into the 5 things that Zeta has taught me over the years. So one is we have to know our role, and usually I think I'm gonna try to like lower this because my arm hurts and I have notes, so if I seem long-winded or whatever, it's because I got a whole bunch of notes. Yes, thank you, Shay. Know your role. So usually when people hear that phrase, they think of it in like a negative tone, like someone trying to put them into place. And sometimes that can be the connotation, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. When you know your role, you know who you are. Thank you, boo. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Fred. When you know your role, it's easier for you to like function in any place that you're at, right? So one of the things that I guess Zetas are, I shouldn't say known for, but things that usually get tagged to us is that we are one of the smaller organizations within MPHC. We emphasize quality over quantity, and we really push being finer. And that's something that we just really, really do well. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's something that we champion. And so when you know what you're good at, you can excel at that in way greater, I guess, like efforts, and more exponentially than other people who are trying to focus on trying to be like everybody else. Like, if you are one of the smaller organizations, that's cool. You know, if you're not the most known person on campus or at your job or whatever, that's cool. But harness in on what you know how to do best, and that's going to get the attention that you want. Even if you're not really seeking it, it's going to get you attention because people know what to come to you for. So don't try to be like everybody else. But that also doesn't mean that you can't change along the way. So I know there's like certain campuses, especially within HBCUs, where they have larger lines. My line was like 10, and we thought that was a lot. But there could be like, thank you, Fred, I appreciate it. Our line was 10, like I said, versus maybe like an HBCU where they have like like 60 girls online or what have you. But that doesn't mean that eventually like your organization can get to larger lines or whatever. But that doesn't mean you also have to stay super, super small. It just means that as you continue to define and refine who you are, yes, changes will come, but they'll change because you want them to change, and it's authentic to you and the progression and the projection that you have for yourself and your organization, rather than basing it on what everybody else is doing. So, first lesson that Zeta taught me how to do is know your role. Second thing that Zeta taught me how to do is leverage my uniqueness and leverage our differences, or leverage my differences, the things that make me different is what I'm trying to say. Learn how to use that to my advantage. So usually if you don't have a point of reference to like I want to say like Greek stereotypes, like the only thing that people really tag on Zetas, thank you Shay, the only thing that people usually tag on Zetas is that we fat. Did you know it's a sin to be in a sorority? It's not. It's not. You can. That's not even part of this, so I'm not gonna. I can get into that later, but it's not. Excuse me. So leverage your uniqueness. You'll usually tag Zetas for being like fat or we like to eat. Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but everybody likes to eat. Like, if you don't like to eat, something wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with us. I like my snacks, and I'm still fit. So if I'm hungry, I eat. If you don't like to eat, there's something wrong with you. But snacks are fun, and they are necessary. You need your nutrition to get through the day. If you're not eating, then you dying. I assume everybody want to live. So that's just it. But the only thing... come through snacks, yes. But anywho, that's the only thing that people can really tag on us. Other than that, you know, when it comes to trying to define who a Zeta is, no one can really ever do it. Why? Because we play so many roles and we have so many distinct and unique experiences and expertise and personalities that range, and it collectively makes us a really unique bunch. So whenever you have, I guess, an area where someone can't distinctly define you or put you in a box, that is your opportunity to paint a different impression for them. So whether they didn't have, if they had like a negative connotation and they meet you and they don't know that you're a Zeta and they eventually find out that you are, that puts a whole nother impression in their head, like, oh, well, I never saw Zetas like this before. Well, you know, hopefully the next person that I see who's a Zeta fits this characteristic. So you get to change the way they look at you. Or if they didn't have a point of reference in general or at the beginning, you know, you just made that. So I know I get that a lot when I talk to people, and I shouldn't say for some reason, because the other organizations are awesome as well. But some people mistake me for either a Delta or an AK. I'm just like, no, I'm a Zeta. And they're really surprised. And I'm always a little bit offended about why they're surprised. But it also tells me that I had a chance to change their perception of what a Zeta looks like, what we sound like, what we do. And so know your role, leverage your uniqueness. Those are two things that Zeta has taught me. Number 3, own your voice. Zeta is very and has become more strict on what a Zeta woman should look like, sound like, act like, what have you. And excuse me. And although I know some people have some kind of feelings towards that, I think in retrospect it's really good, because we have a distinct outline of what we should be striving for. Does not mean that you can't have your own personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, for me, one of the things that I struggle with is I love Jesus and I cuss a little. That's not necessarily fine. But I need to work on it. But I think overall, the impression that I give people is that, you know, I try to be a person of character. I try to hold myself to higher standards and be a finer woman. And throughout all the things that I do, I really try to reflect that. I love Jesus, and so I try to reflect the love of God in people. And when you own that and you own your voice and you're very like headstrong about that, people know not to come with you with mess that don't match your character. I don't like gossip. People don't come to me with gossip. People know that I'm a very optimistic person. People don't come to me with like a whole bunch of pessimism, or they come to me because they want to be uplifted and encouraged. And so I own that part of my voice. Like, I know that that's who I am at my core, and I emphasize that at all times so people know to come to me for that. So when you get down to the nitty gritty of who you are, people know how to, that goes into my next one, people know how to gravitate towards you for those particular things. They don't come with you with other stuff. And if they have a perception, going back to like leveraging your uniqueness, if they have a perception of what you are, what your organization is, and you don't match it, then that puts cognitive dissonance in them. They're like, okay, well, you know, she is Zeta, she don't mess with pettiness. You know what I'm saying? So other Zetas might not be petty because, you know, I see her, I might have run into other people who don't mess with pettiness. Don't come to Zetas with pettiness. We ain't about that life. We ain't got time for it. So owning your uniqueness and standing firm to that. Don't waver for anybody. Don't waver for anybody, because once you do, that messes up their perception of you, and it also affects the message of your chapter or your organization. You know, don't be flippy floppy. If you about that life that you say you are, then be about it. Don't waver for anybody. And you know, and this could also go for like negative things too. Although you need to change the negative aspects of yourself in 2016, it's still January, you got time. But if you know that there's something that you have that's, I guess, not necessarily good for you, or it's a habit that you're trying to break, don't necessarily dismiss it. You need to embrace that thing that you're trying to break and change it. The first thing that you can do to change it is just embrace and acknowledge that you have that issue. So don't be trying to front around people thinking that like they don't know that you're struggling with something, or denying it. Like, there could be people that can help you. So lessons 1, 2, and 3 so far: know your role, leverage your uniqueness, own your voice. And then the fourth thing was kind of going to what I was saying, is let people gravitate towards your story. Excuse me. When you know who you are, know what makes you unique, own your voice, know how you can contribute to different things, people start gravitating to that story. They know exactly what you're about. Thank you, Shay, for the captures. I appreciate it, girl. They gravitate towards your story because of like several different things. So I'm trying to look at my notes. Where is it? I'm gonna read my notes and just maybe it'll come to me that way. Okay, so let people gravitate towards your story. Oh, okay. now I remember. So when I first came into Zeta, I wasn't necessarily like the most neoest of neos. Like, I didn't do a whole bunch of stuff just because I also it was my senior year when I finally got into Zeta. I tried 3 times. So I wasn't able to be as accessible as I wanted to. But at the same time, I had some dissonance with like trying to build relationships with like chapter members, some like other sorority sisters elsewhere. Sometimes I felt like I didn't fit in with my line, even though they all loved me in my own unique way. I still felt like I wasn't bonding with them as much, or I wasn't being as sisterly as I could have been. And I couldn't really define why that was, and maybe they didn't gravitate towards my story. Maybe I couldn't gravitate towards them at the time. And I think also I was also trying to figure out, you know, what role did I play in Zeta, in my line, in my chapter, and just really trying to define that because I didn't know where I stood. And so as I started to define my voice and know my role and really figure out what I wanted my story to be, not only in Zeta but as a woman in general, then people started gravitating towards me. So the relationships that I was kind of worried about, they developed on their own, they evolved on their own. And because they know what to come to me for, they know excuse me, they know what to come to me for. They could see themselves in my story when it comes to like maybe not fitting in right away, or maybe being interested in other things rather than like Greek parties and probates and all that other stuff. Not that that's bad, because we get money from that. Hey, support black businesses. but you know, it shows that you had other interests other than Greek life, and people actually relate to that. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, Shay, support black businesses. Also, Shay designs clothes. If y'all want to, like, check her out, you'll see her comments on the, you can also put your link, Shay, if you want to, so people can go to your website. She's amazing. Yes. She's cut. Yeah, so people started gravitating towards the stories that you're trying to tell because they relate to them. They're authentic to you, so they see that you're a genuine person. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. So y'all check out her website. But then also, when you're authentic to yourself and to your story and people gravitate towards it, they also want to share it. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the law of attraction. It brings people to you. For example, when I started DP Taught Me, it was low-key event because I was like frustrated with Greek life a little bit, but I also just wanted to share different things that Greek life has taught me, like the good, the bad, the positive, and the ugly. Like, I just wanted to share those experiences because I was having these conversations with everybody else and their mama dog, but online that wasn't seen. And so I was like, I hope that people can gravitate towards this. I hope that they can relate. I hope that all these conversations that I'm having isn't falsehood and people aren't necessarily feeling this way, or they are feeling this way, they just don't know how to express it. I hope that I can be that voice. So I told my story. I stayed true to who I am. And, you know, people started gravitating towards it. And I'm thoroughly, there's no words to show my appreciation for that. And hearing how people, hey, Zeta, hey, Adrian. Oh, okay, cool. So speaking of, since Adrian's online, so one of the things that kind of go with knowing who you are, knowing your voice, displaying your uniqueness or leveraging your uniqueness and telling your story. I was talking to Adrian the other day about how weird I was when I was trying to get into Zeta, and I really didn't know how to be any other way. Like, I went into a whole Zeta event talking about screamo music, and everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. But that's just who I was, and I can't change the persona because that's who I am. But it really stood out to me, and my chapter really accepted me for who I was, crazy and all. And I didn't realize how impactful that was because they encouraged me to be myself, and that allowed me to take the step to create DP Taught Me. I love you too. And I wanted to tell you this other day, but now since you're here, I can tell you. So I was thinking the other day how I was having a conversation with Adrian, and after I got off when I was on the phone, she told me that, like, the chapter, and I hope I don't tear up because I do not do thug tears in person or in public, but she told me that the chapter was really proud of me and everything that I'm doing. And that really meant a lot to me because she was the one who wrote my letter of recommendation. And to see that come, like, full circle, to see someone believe in your potential at the beginning of your stages, and now seeing that you're evolving, you're coming into your own, and they still have that kind of like pride in you, all that stems from someone believing in your authentic self. So always be your authentic self. Zeta taught me that. And they also, my chapter taught me how to, okay, we had, when like here Kitty comes on and all our like Z's come up, I remember Danielle used to scream like, walk like you got a purpose, and I do that like everywhere I go, especially when I'm going to like business meetings. I play that song and like repeat that line in my head whenever I'm about to go somewhere. I need to be bossed up. So yes. And Ratchet Charm School, it was indeed, but it helped. Like every time I go into a business meeting, I'm about to pitch something, like those are things that Zeta taught me. Walk like I got a purpose, be your authentic self, and that's what elevates me in any area or platform or whoever that I'm dealing with. That's what shines, that's what stands out. So that's what's going to help you elevate you as your individual, as a chapter, as an organization. Stay true to who you are, know your purpose, know your role, leverage your uniqueness, own your voice, and when you do that, people are going to gravitate towards you. And then the fifth thing that I want to say that Zeta has taught me is, one, be willing to be a mentee, and then once you learn the lessons that you have, learn how to be a mentor. There are several different profiles that serve as mentors, I should say, in my life. Whether it's spiritual, whether it was like mental, physically, trying to keep me in check when they saw I was like falling off, academically too, encouraging me to like make sure I stay on my grades. Like, they helped me so much through just minor things in life, but collectively it made a really, really big impact. I remember this one time, I ain't gonna give all the details, but I remember this one time I was like super upset, right? and sent out like this mass text to like my whole chapter, and it was not finer at all. Jesus, I was thoroughly pissed. And I was caught up in the moment, and I was trying to do a whole bunch, and so I think it was partly due to like the stress that I had on myself for being overly involved my senior year, also trying to please everybody, and not recognizing that not everybody has the time that you think that they have. Not everybody can gravitate towards your story at that particular time. They might have to wait a few years or wait a few months or whatever to read your book, read your story, and it really resonates with them. So a combination of those I didn't realize at the time, and I just went off. I'm sorry, UNC Zetas, Rho Delta. I'm so sorry. But I was really pissed off at the time, and I had some people like send me texts or call me and had to like put me in check and be like, Alex, no, that's not what you do. That's not what you do. That is not finer. That is not respectful. Like if you wanted to express yourself, you could have done it in a different way. And at the time, I wasn't trying to hear it. 'Cause I'm just like, I'm pissed. But when I had the time to collect myself and think back, I'm like, yeah, I could have done that differently, or she was right about this. I probably should have approached it a different way. And taking that in, after that event, it never happened again. And I learned how to, one, evaluate why it is that I was feeling that way. If I did have an issue with several people or even individual people, I talk to them on a one-on-one basis like a grown ass. Oh, sorry. Try not to cuss this year. I handle it like a grown woman. And then also, I just had to know my truth at the time. Like, I didn't have... You saw me try to catch myself? Lord. But I had to come into those things way later. Some of them way later, and some of them instantly. But I would not have necessarily thought that way had not someone been there to teach me those ways of thinking. So I took that, instilled that, and I tried to instill that in my mentees. So like, these are some things that I had to learn. Some of them the hard way, some of them the easy way, but I want you to know the full scope of what all this entailed so that you know what to do. Not saying you have to do this, but at least you have a point of reference to make your decision. I don't believe in sending babies out without no point of reference. That's how they end up messing up chapters. And that's how you end up with a lack of deference, because you don't be teaching the babies. You have to teach the babies. You have to be diligent about it. You can't just like drop them in a chapter and then leave them. They don't know what they doing. That's like giving birth. Like you spend all this time like training them up or whatever, nurturing them, whatever they're in the room, and the baby come out and you're like, all right, so when you gonna get a job? When you gonna start contributing to this family? That baby got fresh fetus on it. Fresh placenta on it. Like, it doesn't know what to do. It can't even speak, Jesus. It can't even speak. You have to train the babies. Fresh placenta, like all up in here. They like brand new out the womb. Like, you can't just drop them expecting them to start contributing to the household. When you gonna get a job? Why you taking all my food? All up in the kitchen. Of course I went back to food because I'm a Zeta. But you know, you have to take the time to develop and train these babies. That's how you get great mentees. That's how you develop great mentors. That's how you develop great leaders in your chapter, on your campus, in your organization. You have to take the time to train up these kids. And it doesn't have to be in a super extravagant way too. Like, you don't have to be on an exec board. You don't have to be the head of a committee. You just have to know your role. Like, I didn't have no exec board position. I just did marketing. I knew I needed skills for marketing whenever I got out of school. My lips are ashy, Lord. It's cold outside. Sorry, y'all. But I knew I was good at marketing. So I asked, my provost, hey, do you mind if I do the marketing? They said, yeah. So I went around and like captured everything that our chapter was doing the best that I could. I showed support to other organizations, and help promote that on our platforms. Like, that was my role. That was my role. And when the new babies came in, I was like, okay, this is the image that I created, or I tried to help create. I don't want to, sound pompous or selfish or whatever, but this is the image that I tried to help create that really captures the essence not only of Zeta, but captures the essence and uniqueness of our chapter. And I want you guys to carry this along. And not only this is what I want you to do, this is what I hope you do, these are the steps in which I use to actually do that and to execute it. Now, you can use these steps if you want, if it still plays into the chapter culture and it stays true to you and what your skill sets are. And if you want to change them along the way, that's fine. My stuff isn't going to work for everybody else, but make sure it stays authentic to you. But not just do whatever you want to do, but make sure at the end of the day it benefits someone else. So you're thinking collectively, how does this benefit my line? How does this benefit the current chapter members? How does this benefit, our region per se? How does this benefit the organization as a whole? You have to think outside yourself in order to make the impact that you want to make. But it doesn't have to be a super extravagant. You can just be the marketing person. You can just be the marketing person, and that makes a huge impact. Because Zeta allowed me to do that, I continue to work with graphic design. That helps me make my blog appealing. It let me take initiative. I ended up posting like a Founders Day picture in one of our our groups, and once somebody from headquarters ended up reaching out to me and asking if I could design the images for headquarters for all the rest of the Founders Day. Dude, I wasn't expecting that. Like, that to me is huge. Someone from headquarters saw my value and said, hey, can you help us out? Yeah, I can help you out. I'm gonna say what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to do. But had not my chapter invested in me and encouraged me to utilize my voice, not only for for their gains as far as like putting us out there as a chapter, but just believing in my talents and also knowing that, I'm someone who I guess like really did have that skill set and I wanted to harness it. They let me run with it. They're like, if she got it, then, hey, go with it. Had they not encouraged me and instilled that confidence in me, I probably wouldn't have gotten that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So that's a form of mentorship as well. Just encouraging people, letting them know that if you have these skill sets, use them to the best of your ability. And I know I went all over the place, but I tried to rein it in. So I'll do a recap really quick. So also, this is for Zeta's Our Girls initiatives, where we're telling our campaign for today, for our Founders Day, to tell the younger versions of ourselves or younger Greek members, what are some things that we learned or we would have liked to learn whenever we were younger that helped us, be a better mentor or a Greek letter member or what have you. Just lessons that we learned to make us better people. These are the things that Zeta has taught me to become a better person. So, 1, know your role. Know it well. Know what you can do. Know what you can contribute. Don't waver from it. Don't try to be like everybody else. Your gifts ain't everybody else's gifts. Their gifts ain't your gifts. There's a scripture, and I can't think of it right now, but the Bible says that everybody has their own unique gifts, according to what God has for you and the will He has for you. Like, don't try to look at everybody else, because the things they did to get their gifts or to harness their gifts, you probably ain't gonna do. You're probably not going to do them. You're probably not going to want to do them. They're probably not going to want to do the stuff that you do to harness your gifts. So stay in your lane, know your role, know it well. Number 1. 2, leverage your uniqueness. Use your unique talents, personality, whatever you have to make you stand out. Like I said, don't try to be like everybody else. Use that to either change the perception that someone has about you or create a new perception of what someone has about you. Number 3, own your voice. So once you know your role, once you know what makes you unique and you're trying to leverage it, stay to that. Don't try to change it, unless it's like benefiting you in the long run as far as like helping you become a better person. But own it. If someone come to you with some gossip and you usually don't gossip, but it sounds really good and you might want to partake. Gossip ain't never gonna get you nowhere. Don't do that. Or if someone's asking you to do something that's outside of your character and you kind of want to get to know them, but it doesn't ring true to you, don't waver. Don't waver. Like, it's not worth it. And people are going to perceive you as flippy floppy and just like kind of fit in with the crowd. And sometimes that's good when you want to have a collective good effort, but eventually, like, they want to know you for you. Keep to what's unique to you, and that will ring true and hold a better impression than anything else that you could do. So know your role, leverage your uniqueness, own your voice. Number 4, when you do all those things, people will gravitate towards your story because they relate to you, they can identify with you, and it's authentic. They know you're not putting on a front, and they'll be more willing to share your story. And that'll bring more attention and more good vibes and more good people in your camp, and we all need that. And then number 5, the lesson that I have, be willing to be a mentee, but then also once you learn everything, even if it's along the way, become a mentor. All the things that you learned can help somebody else. Share your story. You never know who your story is going to impact, how it's going to change you, how it's going to elevate them in their life, and then more likely than not, when they think about that, just like I was thinking about how Adrian wrote my recommendation letter. Like it means so much more when they get to that level, and they'll never forget that. They shouldn't forget that. If they do, they fraud. Most authentic people we know will pay homage and give reference to people who helped them along the way, and that's what being a mentee is about. That's what being a mentor is about. And so yeah, I know that was really long. I tried to keep it as short as possible. So that was, like I said, that was for our girls.